Matthew, you're on it again. Good job. All right. Well, welcome to class. We've got you broken into your groups. And what we're going to do, I'm going to talk a little bit about this court case, kind of give you an idea in the background of this case. Now, the first case that we're going to be doing is the ALA, or the American Library Association, versus Governor Pataki from New York. Now, this case is back from 1997, where they questioned the New York Penal Law 235, Section 21, okay, which dictated the making it a crime for child pornography and what constitutes that. And the reason being the Library Association is suing is because in order to get funding from the state, they were being required to accept blocked child pornography and have a filter put into their computer systems. Well, they said, wait a minute, that's First Amendment right to free speech. Is it? Where's it defined? Free speech has a line, right? But where is it? No one knows. So they tried to define this now as to being what is harmful to minors. They wanted to make the filter, what is harmful to minors? And that's what caused the chaos. Because they defined what's harmful to minors as any quality of description or representation in whatever form of nudity, sexual content, sexual excitement, sadomasochistic abuse, when it is considered in whole or appeals to the prudent interest of sex of minors, is patently offensive or prevailing standards in the adult community with whole respect to the material, or considered as whole, lacks serious literary, artistic, political, or scientific value for minors. If it doesn't meet any of those criteria, it's considered harmful. Which makes sense, right? We could all agree that that's a good, ethical, and moral law. Right?
It's all three. So if A, B, and C are true, we're saying that it's harmful to minors.
Those three categories would dictate or could be defined as being harmful to minors.
Okay, but if we have A and B true, but when we consider this as a whole, it has serious literary, artistic, political, or scientific value for minors,
then it doesn't apply.
then it doesn't apply. Okay, cool. All
Because
three.
you have to have all three.
All three.
When it is A, B, C. It doesn't, see, it says that magic
And.
word.
And. Okay, good.
If that word had been or, that changes the whole context of the law. Correct?
A has a typo.
I'm sure it does. But here's the thought. That's a typo too, but you go through, and there's many other laws. The second law. Here's the defenses to that liability. The defendant can make a reasonable effort to ascertain the true age of the minor, but was unable to do so. Okay? For example, can you really distinguish the difference between a 17-year-old and a 19-year-old? Or a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old? 17-year-old that's 364 days old versus an 18-year-old? Honestly, I'm not that good. I can tell the difference between a 14-year-old and an 18-year-old. I may be able to get you within a year. So that's one way to get out of it. The defendant is taking good faith, reasonable, and effective appropriate actions to restrict or prevent access to these specific materials. You have restricted access without by requiring the use of a credit card. Now, where's the problem with that? The law says that if you were to look at pornography, you have to be 21. Well, you can get a credit card at 18, can't you? So that doesn't work. The defendant has a good faith estimate mechanism to labeling, segregating, or other mechanism to material that be blocked by screened by software or other capabilities reasonably available and responsible adults wishing to effect such blocking or screening, and the defendant has not otherwise solicited minors not the subject of blocking, blah, 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 blah. Okay? So those are the ways that you can get around that law. So there you have it. Defense team. Here's your ways to think about how to get away from this law. They're going to argue, is the library, that you, the governor, in the governor's office, can't tell them to put blocks on them because it violates their free speech. But you're telling them it violates the law. So that's what y'all are going to argue. So y'all see which way y'all are going to go? You see which side you're on. From a law standpoint, we'd all agree that would be probably a good thing. From a library standpoint, it could be a good thing if it's talking about maybe health, science type stuff, right? Depending on the objective part of it. But that's what you got to get in a balancing act. That's where your ethics and morals come into play. But that's your court case for the first case. Yes, sir.
So we, Group 2, the defense, we are New York.
You are the state of New York. You are the governor's office of the state of New York.
So we're trying to say both that the stuff that says this is harmful to minors and this stuff, the 4 regular defenses, we're trying to say that's good. Do it, library.
You're trying to invoke you're trying to tell them that they can't see or allow child pornography to be on their systems.
Not to do it. You tell them not to do it.
But they're saying they have freedom of speech, which allows them to be able to download whatever they want to.
So the statute stuff that we looked at, the statute matters because we, New York, are trying to tell the library this is why you have to censor it or whatever. This is why you have to block it.
Mm-hmm.
Forget free speech. This is the deal. And they're saying, no, free speech says, and holds. Okay.
Remember, they have their argument too.
Well, yeah, just general idea.
So y'all kind of getting the idea of what y'all are going to end up doing? Group 1, y'all okay? Y'all kind of seem out of it. Y'all haven't really said much. You just let Matthew take it over and
I'm going to purposely steer you guys in the wrong direction. I'm the scapegoat, Group 2 online.
So let's see here. Now, for our in-class discussions, and those in their Cyberland, those in Cyberland, I want a one-page report for either one of these discussions. I want to know your thoughts on those. Group 1, you do number 1. Group 2, you do number 2. And so what we're going to do for the rest of the class time is Group 1, you're going to discuss and go through group discussion 1. Talk about it. Come up with a solution. Tell me about it. What do you think? Same thing with Group 2. Y'all going to get around, discuss and talk about it, all right? I'll leave this up for group 2. Those in Cyberland, this is actually in the content area. Just go down to content area for in-class discussions. This will be there. It's going to cover all the weeks for the rest of the semester. So please just, you choose either 1 or 2, write a 1-page summary of it, of what the question's asking, what you think. Choose either 1 or 2, and then send it to me in an email.